Hello, welcome to the podcast.
The only
awesome.
podcast.
The only podcast.
Single only podcast. This is the first one we're recording. And
This
by
is the
that
first
I mean
podcast ever.
This is episode 17.
No, this is the first podcast ever.
We stuck our best friend and game show host Max Pacheco in the dungeon.
The Fungeon.
We will not be seeing
Helps
him
him think.
for who knows how long.
We pull
Helps him
out.
think of more trivia.
We'll pull out Max and/or Jurian, dust them off the next time they're required. But other than that, if you don't see them, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know where they are.
They're in the dungeon.
They're in the dungeon. You know.
So, Alex, how have you been the past week? I know we haven't really been doing much lately because Aries and I got stuff going on.
Oh God.
Boy, don't you fucking know it. Jeez, we're catching up on the fucking backlog we have. That's for certain.
Yeah.
The only thing we have left to upload right now, I think, is My Summer Car. I think that's the only thing left in the tank right now.
Yeah, Tyler just finished My Summer Car's most recent episode, and I don't know how many's left in the
There's
bank.
probably one more, maybe two.
I'll ask him during break.
If he's sparing, if he's merciful. But other than that, I've been I'll say I'm begging to record.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Most of the time, and I can't get a single person. Usually, because everyone's busy. You two are moving, so you have an excuse. Everyone else is just fucking silent.
Kaylee's got a
or
new
has
job.
like a.
Kaylee has a new
Kaylee
job.
actually has a job.
She's an
Cam's
editor.
Kaylee has work.
Cam's not even in his state right now.
Where the hell is
Where did Cam go? Hold on, this is the first I'm hearing of
He
this.
texted me this morning and so like I'm at my friend's. Their internet's not working, so if you don't hear from me, I'm not dead. And then I haven't heard from him for the rest of the day.
What state is he in?
I think he's in New Jersey right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Jay's
fucking
just
god.
Jay's probably the only other
Jay's
person that's
nocturnal.
available.
Except
they
Jay's
work
nocturnal
nights.
because they work night shifts.
Well,
so
that's
when I'm
easy.
recording, when I'm asking for recording people, like I could either get Jay late at night,
Which is not hard
Or-
because you stay up late like a night
but then
owl
I
too.
get, yes, but I can't get anyone else because you guys are gone and everyone else is awake during the day hours.
Which
and
is
We're
why-
in New
Vezov
Jersey.
is whatever the hell's going on
And
with Vezov's
Vezov is
internet.
trying to resuscitate their internet and laptop at the same time.
Yeah, he has a weird situation going on. I'm probably something to talk about is make like do it in the meetings like text channel. Let's talk about what the fuck's going on with recording. Jesus.
Literally, August has been such a dry spell. I don't think we've recorded a single thing in August.
No, nothing but podcasts.
Nothing but podcasts.
Nothing but podcasts.
We could always ask Jurian to come on like a side like new game show or something. Not a new game show, but like a new show, like a new game
show.
recording.
It could, yeah.
You could record something short with Jurian, see if he's up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a one-off or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully today we're gonna record some more. But yeah, good lord, I've been just struggling to get a posse together to record some stuff.
Yeah.
I am streaming every Sunday now,
Which is
until
great.
I beat Paper Mario Color
Yeah.
Splash. I played it for 6 hours on Sunday.
Yeah, and we won't see that until September
Yeah.
on the channel.
Why?
Because I'm doing like VOD videos on Sundays right now. Might do Sundays and Wednesdays, but I
least-
don't want to bloat it.
Yeah, at least with that, we have stuff that's coming out consistently on, like, Saturdays with podcast and Sundays with the VODs. So we're not, like... We're still having weekly stuff, which is all that YouTube really needs of us in order to have our watch hours be consistent.
I mean, we have one person keeping our watch hours consistent, and that's Vex.
Shout out to Vex, our new baby
First real
mascot.
Probably won't hear this for
First
like
real
3
fan.
weeks.
Yeah.
Vex has like decided to go through every single video we've uploaded since we started in April, and we went from like 100 watch hours over a 4-month period to we're at almost 150 in the past week.
Good lord.
Yeah, no, Vex.
Everyone say thank you, Vex.
Vex is a trooper. Thank you,
Please
Vex.
spread our cult. I mean YouTube network.
Yeah.
Amongst people of a
We
similar
don't have
age group.
we don't have
Speaking of
nearly
Vex,
enough
I just got a
subscribers.
fucking direct message
Oh yeah,
from
he's
Vex.
You summoned.
Do you know what?
Good work.
I'm
Speak
gonna
of the
say what the
devil.
message is because it's funny.
Go for
All
it.
right.
Do you like roguelikes?
Oh.
Yeah,
I love
he-
getting messages from him.
I like.
He does.
I like
He has
roguelikes.
very specific random inquiries. He's like, earlier today he asked me, he's like, "Do you believe in reincarnation?" Or like, if you had the opportunity to become immortal, would you? It's very specific inquiries. It's very.
Answer's yes.
The answer is yes. He's like, no. I'm like, fucking deadass. Yes, I would become immortal. I wouldn't want to do it now because I
so
look
many
like I'm
room
12.
for activities.
I look like I'm 12 right now. I'd want to wait until like maybe my late 20s when I have like a bit less of a baby face and I have like I look my age, so I don't getting carded at that point is like a compliment or whatever the fuck old people think is cool. That's when I'd want to become immortal.
Yeah.
And I'd want it to be like vampirism so that I could make my friends immortal
Yeah.
so I'm not fucking lonely.
Sick.
I just changed my fucking Discord status to recording so Vex knows not to text me.
Cool. So
Yeah?
Paper Mario Color Splash is cool.
Yeah, you were so
I've been-
mad at
since-
that game for so long. The minute you start playing it.
Not the minute I started playing.
Okay, the hour you started playing it.
Because I was getting used to the new game mechanics. But as I played, I realized that most of it's fine, except the stupid mechanic where you have to do little shitty quote-unquote, platforming challenges on the Wii U gamepad
It's great for
in order to
stream.
progress. It sucks because it just makes the screen on my monitor a funny Earthbound battle background, and then I get to do like 3 jumps while holding right stick with no possible way to like hurt myself. It's literally just a staircase, and then I touch a red flag, and then it puts the game back on the monitor. It's so worthless. The rest of the game's pretty good though.
That's probably like a Nintendo thing at that point, though. I don't think the game designers. Did
Yeah,
that
that's literally
because
yes.
they
It's literally
had to.
Nintendo being like, you have to do something with this stupid gamepad because it's what we advertised the whole console on.
And Nintendo's like sobbing in the corner, going like, "Please use the Wii U gamepad."
It's literally why I
Please.
haven't played Pikmin 3. It's one of my favorite game series. I haven't touched Pikmin 3. I own it, but literally when I found out that I had to do all the map shit on the gamepad and I couldn't play with a Pro controller, I turned the game off.
At least it's coming to Switch.
Like, yeah, exactly. Wind Waker HD on the Wii U did the smartest thing ever, where it says, you want to play with a Pro controller? And you can say yes. And then you can just have a pause screen instead of having your inventory on the stupid Wii U.
I like the idea of the inventory on the
Brick
Pro controller,
game-
on the gamepad. To be fair,
It's a fun idea, but when you constantly have to have the thing fucking plugged in because it's just a bright LED screen on, and after like 2 hours of gameplay, you have to now plug it in, and then you have to deal with the annoying wire.
So
and then-
Alex, listen, I know you're on your rant about the Wii U gamepad, but I will say,
yes,
I think the Wii U gamepad could have been a fun idea, and also
if
personally,
it was optional.
Well, yeah, that one there, but also because the complaint you have about like having to plug it in after 2 hours doesn't really bother me personally, because we have the way we have our game room set up right now, me and Aries, is I have like a fucking extension cord that's in front of our couch, because we always play like on like undocked switches or our phones or whatever, so it's like
Or I'm
I
just
think that'd
fucking
be
reading
fun.
a book.
yeah. So we just always have shit plugged in anyway, so it doesn't bother us.
The thing is, like, it's just because the cable is behind me, so if I'm moving around in my
Yeah.
chair or something, it can get caught in the fucking wheels.
If
and
it was my
like,
bedroom, I would hate it.
it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I wish the gamepad was better. I wish the Wii U was a good console. But I'm glad the Switch is.
Literally, the solution was literally to make it an optional feature in every single video game and not a requirement. And then I literally wouldn't complain. It's literally like if like the Switch was like, you better use the Joy-Cons for Super Mario Odyssey, idiot. You think you bought that $70 Pro controller so that you could use it? Stupid.
It's because the
No.
Switch is very much Nintendo learning from their
Yeah.
mistakes.
That's one of my biggest problems is I fucking hate like motion controls in the sense of like I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now, or I'm trying. And there's several shrine puzzles where you have to like move the controller, and the amount of like overextending I'm doing of my joints just trying to get this fucking ball and cup.
That is the Wii U game design ethic.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to know what that's like on the Wii U version? Because I bought the Wii U version because I took so long to buy a Switch. You could play that game entirely with the Pro controller, but when you get to those moments, you have to go find the fucking gamepad and turn it on.
Yeah.
Because they didn't put gyro controls in the fucking Pro controller.
You know what? I think that I think Breath of the Wild's motion control puzzles would be pretty good if the Switch was hooked up to the TV and it was just like the controller, like on that little tiny thing that it has.
Maybe. I mean, we might test that.
It would still suck.
We
Don't
can
get me
test
wrong.
that at some point because I bought Breath of the Wild and because we're scum, we're just both signed into our accounts, so we both just share whatever games we bought.
Which I don't. I think that's a good thing.
No, it's not. It's a way to do it. I know.
I tried to
some
steal
fucking
Alex's copy of 51 Worldwide Classics. Didn't work.
Didn't work.
Nintendo was smart enough for that. Nintendo's like, you guys don't even live in the same state. I'm not letting you take this dude's Switch library.
Which is unfortunate because I was, if Gray could have, I definitely would have like somehow figured out how to rig his Switch so you could play Breath of the Wild because that is such a him game to just be able to go feral and also Sidon is so his type.
He just got a copy though.
Yeah, he did. Like I messaged him like 3 days ago, like saying after he was done with his Pokemon stint that he should try Breath of the Wild.
Do you think it's funny how 4 months later we've come full circle from episode 1? We're talking about Breath of the Wild again.
Breath of the Wild's a good fucking game.
I know. I just think it's funny that it's been 4 months and we're talking about it again.
I did say
I can't wait for Animal Crossing to become fall, dude.
I haven't played
touched
Animal Crossing since I bought it.
Yeah.
I want a autumnal island. That's what I literally this is how I play Animal Crossing is in huge bursts. Then I wait a couple months for the seasons to change and everything's fucking new again.
Maybe. It wasn't. I don't know. I think the one thing that I do not like about how Nintendo's handling the Switch is the way they're handling their first-party games as, like, long-term release schedule games.
It works for Animal Crossing only.
It can work for Animal Crossing, but I don't think they did it well with Animal Crossing. I think the idea was there, and I respect the attempt. But I do think that it was missing too much in its first
Yeah,
cycle.
that was a lot of my thing was...
Before the first update, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, before the, like, as soon as they brought back the art gallery, that update, like, the game is, like, it's back.
Yeah.
And I haven't not played since, way before then.
May.
Yeah, May.
Now they have diving and, like, cooking recipes.
I think it'd be fun to come back to, like, after a year has passed and, like, see what all's there.
When we finally move into our new place, there will probably be, like, us breaking in the new apartment and just us lazing on the couch, depending on where we move in.
Yeah.
Just lazing on the couch playing our fucking Switches. Because we have nothing else to do because nothing else is unpacked.
Yeah, speaking of which, you want to talk about fucking apartment hunting on Monday?
Oh god, yeah.
Please do.
So I want to see how far we are in. We're only 13 minutes.
About 15 minutes.
Yeah. So as we've said several times now, and I don't know, we've mentioned it a couple other recordings that I don't think are going to come out for a while.
Yeah.
Lily and I got, last week, our landlord texted my mom and was like, oh, we just sold the house. You guys have until the end of September to move out. Which isn't too bad. He gave us, about a month and a half, which is longer than
45
most.
days-ish?
Which is, 45 days-ish, which is longer than most landlords will give you, which is usually around 30. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, just be out by the end of September. Let me know if you guys need any help. So Monday, we had been packing. Monday, we finally were like, my mom was getting off of work, and we were going to go meet her in Dallas to start looking at apartments near where her job is. So we were looking around, and like the first place was, oh fuck, what was the first place?
The first place. I wouldn't say apartment names.
I'm not going to say apartment names. I was trying to think of like the specific layout of the apartments we were looking at. The first one was the one with the really small kitchen. So this place has, you get in, this fucking living room is so big. I was sitting there trying to think, it was really long, but like thin. So there wouldn't be a way for us to set up like our couch and our TV the way that it is now.
Basically, they use, the best way I can describe it is, imagine if it's like a big rectangle, and instead of making the doorways like kind of in all over the place, the doorways are all against one wall, and there's 4 of them.
And it was the living room was so fucking big. So they like, but the reason why I was looking at it to begin with was the bedrooms were the same size, which meant we wouldn't be fighting over who got the bigger bedroom.
Yeah. But the kitchen was like a square. It was like,
the kitchen
I'd
was
say
so
4
fucking
foot by
small.
4 foot.
I could not lift my arms and like do a circle without hitting my hand on something. And like looking around at it had a decent amount of cupboard space. It was about half the amount of cupboard space we have now, but we're in a pretty big house right now. And I was like, okay, the cupboards are fine. And then I look around, there is one drawer, and it's maybe a foot wide.
Yeah. You couldn't fit a silverware thing
kitchen. In there. There was a pantry, and it was just built into the wall in the entryway of the kitchen. Again, not even a foot deep. Like, you could fit a can, like, depth-wise.
I was surprised that there was a little room that was, like, supposed to be where the washer-dryer were. I was like, I'm surprised you could fit a washer and dryer in there.
It would be a fucking feet to get it up those narrow ass stairs and into the washer dryer area.
I mean, apparently they do it. People do live there.
People do live there. I mean, I didn't see anyone.
Didn't they say they have in apartment complex like laundromat?
I think that was the next place we looked at.
Okay, well,
not every place has that.
It was a nice living room. I think if the rest of the house reflected how nice the living room was, it would have been nice.
But again, my main problem with that place was there was no storage room. The kitchen was fucking horrifically tiny.
It's a shame because the balcony was so pretty.
I would have much rather have vetoed a dishwasher and do all the dishes by hand and have more drawers.
If you had the space, yeah.
Because otherwise that apartment was fine. Again, I wish they hadn't fucking blown their load with how large that living room was, because that living room was easily the size of both the bedrooms.
Alex, how much house hunting have you ever done? Were you like, you lived in the same house you've always lived in?
I've lived in this entire... My parents originally bought a house, or rented a house, that was literally across the street from my dad's grandparents.
You just never moved?
When I was a little itty-bitty baby.
Itty-bitty
boy. Couldn't remember it. Didn't fucking remember a thing from that, except from, like, VHS recordings that my parents took.
Yeah.
And then they had my sister, and they're like, this house will not suit 4 people. So, like, they moved out to this house that I currently reside in.
That's alright.
This room has been my room since I was, like, in a crib.
Suffocating?
No. It's a fine room.
Ah.
The only problem is this house is old. So
Yeah.
the windows are like old and shitty wood, and like
so it's like one of those houses that needs some love.
I hate
we recently like last winter got new insulation, a new plumbing, like new toilets and new refrigerator courtesy of the state because the shit was so old.
Why don't you what's the word? What's kept you guys from really doing it, like going anywhere else?
My mom, they bought the house. They paid a loan, so they're just paying it off. And
they're still
like,
paying
for it. Yeah,
oh
they're
my
still
God.
paying off the house. Yeah.
That's crazy.
My dad was maintenance dude who worked in who hopped from apartment to old folks home to old folks home.
Yeah.
Constantly getting fired. And then my mom worked a client-based hair salon thing.
Ah.
She refuses to work a salary job and only
Really?
works with like 6 old people that do client-based hair services. So
They're
when she
gonna
gets
kick
paid,
it
she gets
one
like
day.
200. Yes, but also when she does get paid, they give her like $200 because they get like the full works.
Ah.
How often do they do that?
Not often, especially not right now.
Oh,
Usually, my mom worked 1 day a week, Saturdays.
wow. $200 a week is like less than I make unemployment-wise.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's no wonder that the house really hasn't been paid. Aw,
Yeah. I'm sorry. That sucks.
that's fine.
Let's
I mean,
complain more about our apartments, though, being flex on you.
Yeah, go back to that.
So the next place was the fucking townhouse.
Yeah, townhouse.
That's what it's called. That is the
It's a
type of
star.
structure.
It is.
That is
yes,
the type
it is
of
a
building it
townhouse.
is. I don't
It
care
is
that
the
you.
It's a house in a town.
It is the
It is-
smallest townhouse I've seen.
That is. I have lived in smaller townhouses.
Okay.
So it is nice, especially considering it is just for 2 people. I've lived in smaller ones needing to house 4 people.
The stairs were so narrow.
That's
when
just
I climbed
how
them, I was so
townhouses are.
scared.
She
I thought I was gonna fall down them.
She sat on top of the stairs whining. I was like, listen, this is within our budget. It's not in a horrible part of town. And it is
It had a
significant.
state trooper sign on the fucking front of the office.
All of them have that to some extent or the other. The really nice place that we liked that had the corner apartment had something like that out front.
It was, but this one was like perched out front in front of like the pool area. It was a scary looking way of just showing that sign off is more my point.
I guess you're just like a bitch.
Well, yeah,
Actually.
that too. I know I'm not a great person. I'm scared of like my own shadow, but still.
Yeah, we got here at the townhouse, and she was like, I'm gonna fall down the stairs if we live here.
To be fair, we spent like 3 hours at the previous place. It was hot. We were walking around
We
because none of you
saw-
have a sense of direction.
What? That is not what happened. We looked at
Oh.
3 different apartments at the previous complex because we weren't just looking at apartments for us, we were also looking at apartments for my mom, who has a different budget than us.
Yes, yes.
So while we were settling a lot more on only looking at 1 apartment per complex because we have a shit budget of like $1,000 a month for rent, she has one that's a lot closer to like $2,000 to $2,500 a month because she makes significantly more than us.
Yes, but needless to say, we were at the first place for a while, and I was tired, and I was annoyed, and I was hot, so I had a little meltdown, and I got to whine for a little bit, and AJ got to make me feel better, even though it was very selfish of me.
Well, I wasn't saying that. I was more just saying you got
I'm
to the top
saying
of the...
that.
Then, alright, you're right. That is absolutely true. We finished, we looked at the townhouse. The townhouse was a lot better. It was also still really weird because it had a lot of emphasis on a really big living room, which
it can work.
it can work. I liked the places we saw that put a lot less emphasis on a huge living area and had it more dedicated to like kitchen and closet space.
Yeah.
Which
The first 2 places they weren't perfect.
I talked about this briefly on Twitter, but I think it's so funny how, like, as a kid, having to look at apartments, because I moved a lot growing up, so occasionally my mom would drag me around looking at apartments when I was small, and that was always such, like, a novel thing to me growing up, but now that I'm an adult, I hate it so much, because I walk into a place, I'm like, there's no closet in here, and I'm gonna fucking scream about it. How dare you show me, a young adult, a living room with no fucking coat closet? Where the fuck am I supposed to put shit? Am I supposed to put it all in the closet in my room in the back of the house? What the fuck?
To be fair, depending on who they're gunning towards, like if it's a young adult crowd, it's like this is your first apartment, they're not going to have a lot of stuff. They're moving in with like a room and maybe a roommate who has a room, so they'll be getting their own shit over time.
No,
We do not have that scenario.
They expect every young adult to be a fucking minimalist freak.
Which
Yeah.
is my problem, because I don't need like a bunch of really big closets. I just want like 3 decent sized closets, so I'm not having to store everything in my closet on the other side of the fucking house.
Yeah. I mean, the third and fourth places were pretty similar to each other, and they were just about perfect, but one of them was like really weird about the fact that we were using your mother as a guarantor.
Yeah, so since my mom's making a lot of money, because she's an ICU nurse in the age of a fucking plague, so my mom...
COVID times.
She's also negotiated with her contract to be making nearly $3,000 a week. So she's making bank right now because of
Let's
Corona.
flex on our viewers.
Well, my mom's doing a very dangerous job. She's having to work directly with Corona patients, and she's not guaranteed stuff like life insurance with her job. So,
Yeah.
I would like to say, while my mom's making a lot of money, she is working a very dangerous job, so she's earning it. So,
Of course.
I'm gonna get into the most important question.
Yes.
For your apartment, what are the smells? What are the smells you've encountered on your perusal?
So
Intense
the second,
cigarette smoke.
Intense cigarette smoke. One of the ones we smelled, the guy like warned us that they were actively renovating the place, and we got in there and I was immediately like, yes, I can see why. It smelled
Soaked into the fucking wallpaper.
Smelled so strongly of weed. I cannot stress how strongly like.
Was that the one with Joe?
I think so. I think that was the one with the last apartment we saw on Monday was this really, really hot guy. I wouldn't call him hot. He was very pretty.
I think he was hot. He was very well groomed.
He was very pretty. He had his hair was like he had like his hair braided against his head in a very nice way. He was very.
If he
pretty.
was not at least a little gay, he was just a very well put together straight man.
Yeah. So he should that house was it. Anyone that's looked at apartments a lot will know the place that has like the really nice clubhouse, and then like the apartments look like dog shit.
Yeah. Cutting that out.
I can't fucking bleep that out.
Sorry, no, I'm just gonna cut out that bit of me saying that. The area we're living in right now has a lot of apartments that are like, oh, you know, we're a townhouse looking for a young adult or like new families, but we're charging like $2,000 a month in rent, and our clubhouse is nice, but our apartments are like 600 square feet.
Like, don't lie to me. I respect the fact that I am a broke ass motherfucker, and I'm coming to you because I'm a broke ass motherfucker. At least this place, they were actively renovating all of their apartments, so I'll give them some credit.
I mean, it's nice apartments, and the one we're moving into has washer and dryer included.
And internet included.
And internet included, which is great. It's AT&T, but it's fine.
Well, that's what we have right now.
Yeah.
And it's city AT&T, which is it's a little better. It's not much
that little
better.
fiber wire bullshit.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it is here, where our house has the output area for the internet for the entire the entire neighborhood block we're on.
It's like if one thing happens, everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
Because the entire neighborhood is daisy chained on like fucking baby's first robotics wires.
It's nuts.
Now you get to go to the big city and eat the fiber wire noodle.
Yeah, and then when we record,
Gourmet.
you know, we can show you guys and if we can hear you guys faster, and we can show you guys pictures of dogs at 4K.
Nice.
The third place we went to, because we went to 4 places. We tried to go to a 5th, but they didn't have any places available until October.
But let's hurry this last one up.
Yeah, so the third place was really nice. It was a nice corner apartment that used the space really well and had all up-to-date appliances. But we went there and we were like, okay, well, it's us 2 moving in, and they're like, yeah, we have all of the amenities, but they wanted like 3 times. They wanted 3 times the rent for us and 6 times the rent for my mom as the guarantor. which is a fucking lot of money. Like, I make, I think, 2.5 times the rent, so stretching it to 3 isn't too hard between the two of us.
Yeah,
but
because
Jesus
of,
Christ.
But the only problem is that I have yet to receive any money from my unemployment.
But you do have the promise of it, which help between my mom being the guarantor and the both of us, we make just fine. God, being an adult fucking sucks. I hate these words. I hate that I'm saying
Alex, are you ready to
words.
buy a house as Gamer House as the FableFew?
I can't wait to pay mortgage. We're back.
What's up?
We're back.
We've packed away the previous 30 minutes, and now we are unpacking a new box. Get
So
it?
you know what I got while I was on the break?
What?
We keep at least one glass mug in the freezer at all times during the summer. So I just grabbed one of them frosty ass mugs and put some water in there.
That sounds not like a bad idea, actually.
It's very good.
I drink too many hot to room temperature things, and I like all my mugs too much to risk it.
Yeah.
Make that shit explode.
Would freezing a mug crack it?
Not if it's a good glass
I was gonna say
one.
it depends. Like if it's like a glass and not ceramic.
It's not like a mug. This is like a stein. It's like a glass stein.
Yeah, like a glass that would work with porcelain. No, because it's porous, so it shrinks and grows depending on the temperature.
Get it? Because it's porcelain. Haha.
Yeah, fucking end your life.
This mug that we've had in our house for so long. I don't know where my parents got it, but it's a beer company. It's Lowenbrow.
Weird.
Oh, umlauted.
My mom used to have. My mom used to have promotional Blue Moon beer glasses. Like they were like regular. I don't know what do you call like the ones that are like slightly. They're basically just a cylinder, but like it fans out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
They're just called glasses.
I assume so. Yeah. I don't know enough about.
It's not special. It's just like a regular old cup.
I do not know of vessels.
But she had like a Blue Moon branded one, and I was like, "Where the hell did you get that?" And she doesn't remember.
It happens.
We have like
no idea.
We have like a Disneyland cup.
Yeah.
It's got like it's got the mouse on it.
Yeah. Aries and I fucking have been packing so much these past few days.
Oh, God.
I feel like we've both drank more caffeine in the past week than we have all year.
Well, I definitely have, because I haven't had really any coffee regularly since I quit my job at 7-Eleven.
I mean, the same for me and Dart.
Which you quit significantly after, because I quit working at 7-Eleven to work at a plastic factory, which then was giving me a horrible rash, so I had to quit that, too.
To be fair, with Dart, I was drinking a lot of caffeine, but I wasn't drinking it regularly. I was drinking it like once or twice a month as like oh God, this shift is going to kill me. I need to drink something or I'll die.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm drinking caffeine like daily. If not one drink of caffeine, it's like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was like, we had been out all of Monday. I woke up once yesterday, and that was because Lily came into my room and was like, we need to pack, and I went, I'll wake up at 10, and then I didn't.
Not only did you not wake up at 10, I went to sleep I took a nap after I was hanging out with Alex for a few hours, and then you talked with me and your mom about what's going on with like our move out situation, and then I like, all right, well, I'm gonna take a nap, and you can wake me up once you start packing. And then I woke up at 9 a.m.
I did wake you up once I started packing, because I had woken up at 6 to make sure my brother got to school, which, by the way, school's back in session.
Starting again. I don't know why.
Every year it surprises me since I graduated in 2017.
This year even more
This year
it shouldn't
it was
happening.
Significantly more of a slap in the face. Well, my brother has really bad ADHD and he's deaf, so homeschooling is hell for him.
Yeah, it was pretty bad when the schools shut down for Corona.
So he really wanted to go back to school physically because it's easier for him if he can see the person and like ask questions than get drowned.
That's fair.
Because he had
I've found that neurodivergent kids do better with like closer like one-on-one schooling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even when I was just on a computer in the same room as a teacher, when I could ask questions, it was so much easier for me. And I assume my brother's the same
Mm-hmm.
way, because he was constantly having to ask us questions, and I know at least one of his teachers straight up would not answer his emails when he's all like, hey, I don't know what the fuck program this is that I'm supposed to be using, and the link you sent me is broken. Like, one or two of his teachers just did not answer him, so we had to get in contact with the school counselor to explain that, so he wouldn't flunk the year.
I think it's absolutely crazy that, like, I feel like if we were going to the high school where I graduated from and you were at for most of the time I was there.
I was there for all but the last
like,
semester of my senior year.
Yeah, and not in your entire freshman year.
Well, yeah. But I didn't go to school my freshman year.
If we were both going to that school and that Corona happened, I think that school would have had the infrastructure to handle this.
Well, yeah, but that's because at large, that school, as it was functioning as an early college high school, everything was already made so we'd have to turn it in online, or that it could be made to turn in online.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, I feel like schools should be going in that direction.
Especially
of that
high
school,
school.
Even though I fully acknowledge that school had several integrated institutional problems with how it was handled and managed by the greater populace of the school board, but
yeah, most of that
it had a lot of good going for it.
Yeah, most of that was just due to the fact that its funding had been gutted, and so a lot of its funding that it had gotten for itself through its robotics team was being funneled to the public high school. So it was just getting...
It's time for football. Football fans, let's embezzle our high school funds and put it towards a $3 million stadium.
That is so sad that you have never known the ultimate challenge, the highs and lows of high school football. I learned that that's a real quote and not a meme yesterday. The only thing I got done was I saw a gift set of fucking Riverdale and learned that the epic highs and lows of high school football was not just a meme that people had done to dunk on it. It was an actual scripted line that they made Archie Andrews say.
Listen, high school football is fun. I love the idea of kids being able to, like, give each other permanent concussions when they're 12. But, like, don't spend $3 million on a stadium for something that is teetering on, like, a collapse.
Yeah, also, like, sports scholarships are great. It's getting kids involved in sports. It often provides a healthy outlet for either aggression or hyperactivity. But when you put such a fucking emphasis on it...
Do you know that the local high school here hired a famous quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys to be their football coach, and their team did worse?
They spent like $2,000 just getting this guy to even look at their football team. Only to have him not even make it to state.
Incredible.
What was
work.
the point? You could have spent that money on your band. The band at the area over here is great. I love how much those band directors put, because they consistently do well. Not the best, but well.
Our entire district has had one band director.
Oh no!
He in the mornings would drive to the middle school and teach the morning band classes, because they were only the first 2 periods of the day. Mm-hmm. And then also in second year of middle school, they made it so that PE was no longer mandatory, and you had to choose between PE, band, or choir.
Must have been nice.
So kids, no, not nice if you were enjoying band for the musical aspects and not as the I want to get out of PE and fuck around, which is where all the kids who didn't want to do PE fucked off to. They went to band to be disruptive and horrible, because they're like, I'm just going to get an A and pass. And then Wells, our band director, would flunk them, and then they would not pass. And then
how can you fail me? I didn't do any of the work for the class I thought would be easy.
Yeah. And then so after he finished teaching 2 classes at the middle school, 3 actually, we had like a weird interim class called Singleton instead of like a block class, and it was like 30 minutes, and it was a waste of time. I don't know why they did that. And then after he finished doing those 3 classes, he would like take like a break, then drive over to the high school, and then he would teach a jazz class, and then he would teach band,
I feel bad
like
for
actual
that
band.
guy.
And then after that, any elementary schools in the district, he had to go to each elementary school and like petition, like he did they did like an assembly at our elementary schools. There's like, would you like to join elementary school band? It's an after school program, and if you did yes, what would happen is at the end of your day at school, they would ship you to the high school on school buses and then teach you in the high school band room. And in my senior year, I didn't have a 10th period, like my final period of the day. I only killed one of my periods when I was in senior year, and band is 9th period, jazz band is 10th, and then after school is the 6th graders.
Mm-hmm.
And what would happen is I would be there for band. I wouldn't go to a 10th period. I'd set up a chair on the side and practice my work while jazz band did their thing, and then I'd stay after school and assist Wells with the 6th graders for senior year. And let me tell you, those 6th graders were a piece of work, and they were just kids from every elementary school. They're from every fucking district school.
Okay.
And he would teach all of them, and then he was done. He taught the entire district.
Alex.
Mm-hmm.
You have any fun stories from when you helped with the 6th graders?
One time I didn't experience this kid, but one of the kids was having problems with their clarinet, and someone was there to help them with. Someone was here to help them with their clarinet, and the kid was very frustrated, and was like, "I don't want to learn it anymore." And he was like giving him a pep talk, and we have a band room, and then we have like an archive that the band and choir shared, where all the sheet music went into like filing cabinets. Yeah, and that's also was like a practice room as well, like because it had good audio in there. It's very muffled, but so we'd go in there like for sectionals, so like we'd split off into our different instruments to help each other with stuff, and we did that for the 6th graders too. And apparently when this dude went to give this kid a pep talk, like, maybe you just give it some more chances, and you can like, the thing with the 6th graders is they bought their instruments. You didn't borrow them from the school. You had to buy that shit. And so it's like, I'm sorry, but unless you want to buy another instrument, you can't really switch. And apparently this kid went into a rage and then grabbed his clarinet by the bell, the bottom, and then just like a fucking weapon slammed it against a support pillar and took drywall out with it, shattering the instrument.
Oh no.
Incredible.
That poor clarinet.
And then the school didn't clean up the drywall or fix that pillar for the entire year. They just left a big chipped pillar in the
How
middle
long
of
into the year was that?
Monumental.
I have no clue.
Okay, well, I mean, I can tell you why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Basically, they would have to have shut down the band room when they repaired it.
It's a separate room, the archive. It's in like a hallway.
Well then there's no fucking excuse. They're just lazy.
Yeah,
I was trying to give them benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry.
Never give a school board the benefit of the doubt.
Don't give us
you give the teachers.
Public American.
You give individual teachers
I should have
the
learned.
benefit
The
of the doubt.
podcast I just started listening to is all the same thing. Bureaucracy doesn't actually help anything.
Absolutely, fuck not.
But that's horrible that like your band director had to do all that, because the school district that I was in,
got mad money.
The middle school had 2 directors.
He's retired now.
Yeah, I bet. The middle school I went to had 2 directors, and the middle school, the other one, had 1 director, who I never got to know. But the middle school I went to had 2 directors, quotation marks there. Because one of the directors had a similar situation where he went from the middle school at one point in the day to the high school. Because he was also the high school band director, and the high school band had 3 different bands.
Oh.
Like, it had marching band, orchestral band, and like something else.
In our school, those
probably
2
like
were rolled
probably
into
the B tier orchestral band, the one that they don't know what to do with, but they still want to be in band, but they're not cool.
Our band, like jazz
Junior
was
varsity, that's what they would have called it if it was a football team.
JV. Our bands were jazz was like complex, like you were pretty good. And
jazz
there were like 10 people in that class.
Yeah.
And then
jazz
the other band was a full
hard
orchestra.
style.
style, and also literally anyone of any skill level could join. We were the pep band. We did 3 concerts a year, and if we were lucky, we could get into a parade. The only parade that we did a parade for homecoming every year for the school, which is like nothing.
Yeah.
We actually did like one year we did like an actual parade downtown in Portland in summer. Paraded for miles, and I fucked up my foot during the practice of said parade. But Tyler,
So you didn't get to
Tyler
be there?
Tyler could tell you. I saw it on TV. I watched it. It's the Rose Parade.
Was it good?
From whenever they showed up, yeah. I watched their footwork, and I could tell that one of the other clarinets that I knew very deeply that didn't fucking practice the footwork of the marching. He's the only footwork you could see that isn't in sync with everyone, and you're like, yep, that's him. He just staunchly refused to do it. Thank you for this imagery.
Thank you, AJ.
I wasn't in band, so I'm just trying to keep up with what
you were in choir, though.
I was in choir. Has fucking nothing to do with band. Unless you get your trachea ripped out, you're always gonna have an instrument.
No, what I mean is, like, you know how it's like to be, like, in a musical practice class.
Yeah, but it's less of, like, warm-ups are more of doing deep guttural noises to warm up your vocal cords.
Screaming.
Than whatever the fuck orchestra's warm-ups sound like.
Dude, listen, so the middle school band directors that I dealt with, one of them was this blonde-haired dude in his, like, late 30s, so he looked really young to a middle schooler. He was very nice, very sweet. He put up with the fact that I was very innately talented with music from a starting standpoint, but by the time I got to the complex stuff at the end year, I didn't have any good practice standards because I was initially good at it, but I didn't learn how to practice because I didn't feel like I needed to. I should have learned how to practice. If you were a middle school kid in band or high school kid, please practice.
You're in middle school. Why the fuck are you listening to our podcast?
Yeah, if you're in middle school,
go
don't
climb a
listen,
tree or something.
Practice your goddamn instruments.
Sit in a
creek. It will
creek.
save you when at the end of the year you have to do your special solos and you sit there and you're like, I'm embarrassed because I didn't actually look at this music until today and I have no idea what I'm playing. And I still got like a B by the end of the year. Mostly because I was still first chair despite never practicing.
Until the event.
What, Alex?
He's having a fucking fit.
Oh, Alex, please verbalize this for the audience.
You didn't look at the sheet music before, like you did it at the event?
At the event?
We
were put into like a room with a person who was judging our playing.
Oh Jesus!
It wasn't like an event where we played in front of people. Otherwise, I would have.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so I was put into this room in front of this person. It was like this is your solo piece. It was like 8 pages of sheet music. I played the first measure, and then I got to the second measure, and then the third. And then I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And they're like, you play again. And I said, no, I haven't read this sheet music before today. And they go, oh. Oh.
I mean,
and I still got a B by the end of the year.
I have a tangentially related story. It's not about band, because choir's a lot easier to memorize, just like the lyrics, especially since I was a soprano, so I only had to memorize the melody, especially in a cappella.
Man, I would have been so good at choir.
Maybe. Choir is...
Well, because I was...
hell.
Because
for different reasons.
Yeah, I would have been good at choir for, like, the reasons why I was good at band, but probably nothing the reasons you'd be good at choir otherwise.
But my Spanish teacher, God, I fucking hated her. She was a super Christian woman, and
Oh, I know, you're talking about what's her name?
Miss Johnson.
Yeah, fuck that lady.
She sucked so bad. I remember I'm fucking trans, I'm non-binary, and I was not out at school, but I was trying to be like, hey, can I get a more gender-neutral name than just the Spanish version of my dead name? And She let the fucking shithead freshman next to me have his name be the Spanish word for worm, but I couldn't just have a more masculine name. I had to have the feminine, fucking Spanish version of my dead name, and I had to live with that. But the kid next to me was called Guillermo, or something like that. Not Guillermo.
That is not the word for worm.
It was.
That is not
I
the
always
word
think
for
it's
worm.
Guillermo.
That's a name.
And it starts with a G, and it's not guano, because that's bad shit. But it's something similar.
Gusano.
But
It's Gusano.
she let him go as Gusano for the entire fucking year. But I couldn't be like I can't remember the name that I wanted. It might have even been as simple as Angelo or something, but I couldn't.
It probably was Angelo.
Probably.
Oh my
Knowing
god!
you.
I just remembered how like the band was like the neglected child of the arts in our school,
Yeah.
and like they
Every school's like that,
they constantly did this very fun thing where they would just throw an event at us. That they didn't prep us at all until I was like, you guys are gonna play at this assembly. They would just at the assembly before it started quickly round up all the band students that were in like their morning classes and be like, hey, we need you to get ready for pep like right now.
Oh,
And it's
God.
like,
God. They were
and
like
then we're
that
gonna
with us.
and then we're gonna stuff you into this corner of the bleachers because we don't have a spot for you.
Yep.
And after that one time, Wells is like, "You guys gotta run this shit through me, and you gotta give us some fucking space." Like,
In my middle school band, we did one pep rally. It was like the 8th graders homecoming pep rally or something like that. Mm-hmm. They like were scrambling to get chairs from the band room into the gym just so we could sit somewhere because the fucking bleachers were full.
people would steal the band chairs as well. Eventually, we got new
How
ones
do
by
you
like seeing.
steal band chairs.
They would come into the band room when no one was there because usually there's no one in the band room until the end of the day when the band classes happen. So they would just come and take the chairs if they needed them. And then we got new chairs, and then Wells started locking the door
Yeah, I would too.
because they were nice chairs.
I forgot to mention the band director that was went to the high school in the middle of the day. I hated him in middle school. I think nowadays I just kind of feel bad for the dude because he was so impatient with us as middle schoolers. Yeah. And like I think that, you should probably have been a little more patient with middle school children and all. But also, I understand the fact that the district was throwing him between 2 schools, and he had to direct 3 high school bands in a day. So I think the middle school nosebleeds that were really having fucking huge amounts of trouble playing up on the rooftop, probably irritated the shit out of him.
What kind of concerts did you guys do? Because we did 3 a year.
God.
We did a Yeah?
Oh, I had seasonal concerts, and then holiday concerts.
We did we would always do a Christmas concert at the beginning. Then we had a end of the year concert that was like just like whatever. I think we call it the Pops concert, which was just like anything we wanted usually. And then we had a spring concert in between, and that's competition. That's competition time. So we'd our repertoire, we'd play it for the high school at some point in a concert, and then we'd go down to like another school district where they had like an actual assembly with like tiered seating and shit, and be judged.
Interesting.
And we also did like a sight reading competition every year that was hell on earth.
That sounds fun, actually. Like if it was a bunch of people who actually cared about music as musicians.
we did like our judge, like we played our set, like our 5-song set, which included like the concert standards, like a march and like a slow piece and blah blah blah. And then they'd usher us out of the auditorium and take us into like that school's band room and then give us sheet music we never seen. And they're like, all right, fuckers, let's see what you could do. And it's just a bunch of like constant like squeaking and like laughter because no one takes it seriously because it's sight reading.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's a relaxed way to end it where they like grade you on like how well you hold together, not on your performance. They're just like, how willing are you to stick to this?
In my band, we did the Christmas concert, which we prepared for pretty much the entire beginning of the year. Like we did like practice for like the first few months where it was like we're playing just like just regular classical pieces, and then we'd learn like the Christmas pieces by like October, November-ish. And then after that was we had the same thing. We'd learn a piece of music, but this time it's a lot harder. And one time we did like a very fun piratey piece.
Hell
And then we
yeah.
had competition practice, and then after competition practice was solos practice. And we never made it past the first run of competition, but that's because we were a middle school band.
I know
We
for
never did solos unless you were in jazz. Thank God.
solos were
Solos was just like our final grade for the year.
solos were like in concert. You'd have a solo if you were like a cool kid. I got a couple solos because before my voice started to drop, I could sing high soprano. I am out of work, but I could probably sing high soprano now if my life depended on it, and that's it. So if you had like a specialty voice, you got solos. Acapella doesn't have a lot of solos, or at least that I was a part of.
What would be the worst voice range to be in terms of trying to get a solo?
I don't think there's a bad one, because if you're in like a really general one, like say you're in like middle alto for the girls choir, you just try out for it.
Oh, okay.
So it's high soprano is just like you'd only have, at least in mine, I was one of like maybe 2 or 3 high sopranos. So it'd just be like one of us would either volunteer for the part or we try out for it. A lot of times, I've only ever had to compete for a solo as a high soprano once. And that was just because we were both kind of gunning for it. And I ended up moving. I got the part, and I ended up moving before the concert, like the day of.
Uh-oh. I feel bad for that person.
I was so upset. Well, she got because of how it works, and you train as an understudy. If you don't get the part, so you have to learn it anyway. Because you can.
That's good.
Potentially also have to sing backup depending on the circumstances.
Did your choir ever have a lot of people drop midway through the year?
Sometimes. I know I got into like an extra credit choir that it wasn't like, it would be like after everyone already got their fine arts credit, so they weren't in choir just because.
Because they liked it.
Yeah, you were in choir either because you were trying to go into school for music or because you liked it. And sometimes people would drop out of that partway through. I actually have a really funny story that it was, we were getting ready, and it was like the week where people would start dropping out. And this guy like stands up, leaves the room, like just without any preamble, just leaves the choir room, and he comes back, and he left with his backpack, and he comes back, and he has mayonnaise all over one of his hands, and he's holding a sandwich in the other, and he's like, all right.
Oh, you told me this story.
All right, I'm back. And he just sits down.
Yeah. We had a lot of problems with dropouts in my band. In 6th grade, it was like there was like 20 of us in clarinets because they organized by instrument or like section. I think brass was all lumped together despite being like 5 different instruments. Because we didn't have that many rooms or directors. But like woodwinds and brass were separated, but like we'd have like each group kind of split up for practice individually as well. So clarinets, we started with 20 people in 6th grade. And by the end of it, we had like maybe 1 or 2 people leave. And then in 7th grade, there was like 5 people missing. They didn't come back. And then by the end of the year, I think there were 5 clarinets.
There were 3 when I graduated. There was me.
Yeah, how many did you start with?
When I was a freshman, there were so many. There was like 3 rows of clarinets. There was the front row, second row, and third row. Yes. And then a lot of those people were seniors. They graduated or they didn't like it and they left. So then it was like a row and a half. And then that kind of stagnated until senior year. And then a lot of the people just like didn't like it or they graduated. And then there was me, a freshman, and then like a sophomore maybe. So I was just the only like really trained clarinet.
You were
And it
first
was
chair, I assume.
Yeah, I was put in first chair by default. Yes. Also,
Was it-
before I could do
What-
it, but I felt inadequately trained. But I pulled it off, so
Yeah,
that proves something
I-
about me.
I was somehow first chair despite never practicing and never looking at
Fool.
sheet music outside of class.
Foolish.
No idea
human
how.
Being.
I don't know how I
Also,
did it.
Before
I was
we
just good at
end
sight
off,
reading.
let's quickly kin Aries what instrument, because I'm thinking trombone.
I learned how to
Ooh,
play
no,
flute.
no. I think Aries is a known flautist.
Yeah, I learned how
Like
to play
that's
flute when I was 6.
that's the boring response. I'm basing this strictly off personality.
Oh, saxophone
Trombone or
for pure sex
saxophone?
appeal.
Yeah, there you go.
Saxophone was
There
an
you go.
instrument I learned briefly at 11 because a friend of mine could do it.
But which
and then-
saxophone? Because I'm leaning on Barry for loud.
Baritone
I
saxophone
think
is definitely
that
Aries.
sounds right, but that's mostly because
That's
I
the
was
really
That's
low
I
the-
was
one.
it's
not
the
allowed to
big
be
one.
in choir because all I would do was scream, and that's it. But I was like 10, and so they put me in newspaper club.
Could you give us
Nice.
a sample of that scream, please, before we end it off?
No, I'm sick.
Can you do like a little like a
Here, I'll-
like a
Here, I
softer
got. Oh,
one?
no. I got it.
Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.